My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
I don't just let anybody stay in my house. I don't let anybody just in my door. I protect my family at all costs. So if I open my doors to you, there's a certain level of trust and respect that I have. And, you know, God forbid something happened with me and Z, I feel like we would still be friends. You know, like we struggle. Marriage is a struggle daily. 50% of them end in divorce, right? So that there's a chance this is not going to work. What up? It's Three Brothers No Sense. I am Tavares Ferguson, a.k.a. Ferg. Join my co-host, Razi and Buff. Fellas, tell them what's on your minds.
Gigi's a doctor now. Just want to say that.
Is a doctor.
Congrats, now. Gigi. We got a doctor in the family finally. So yeah, anybody down in Mobile looking for a primary care physician, Gigi is officially taking clients. So I think in June is when she officially starts. So if you're looking for our new primary care physician, she starts her residency and she can actually take clients again or in June. So go out, check her out. Her name's Gisela Ward, or Dr. Gisela Ward. I got to put the doctor in front of it now. So go check her out. And congratulations to that boy, aka Tootie little boyfriend, aka Trent. Congratulations, he graduated as well with an engineering degree. So proud of you, bro. Good job on that. And shout out to Huntsville, Alabama, the number one place to live by U.S. News and World Report for this year. So shout out Alabama doing some things. Huntsville is the number one spot to live in. And I would agree. It's great for if you like the woods, you like outdoors. It's got a pretty good nightlife. With the Redstone and the military being there, there's gonna be some nightlife there. So it's very technology driven spot. So it's kind of becoming the technology hub of the South. So Huntsville, yeah, it's doing their thing. I'm really excited to see what they continue to do, and hopefully Alabama doesn't turn it around and all their anti-gay stuff that they like to do and all of that. So now we got to fight that so that we can get people to actually come to the state. But I'm just glad Huntsville is seen for what it is. And if you want to visit Huntsville or you're thinking about moving, Huntsville's a good spot to go to. That's all I got, man.
Okay. Speaking of Huntsville, there's a young lady, black lady that just opened up a vegan restaurant down there. Excuse me for not remembering her name, but I do know. I want to try to reach out to her and maybe have her on one day. So congratulations to her. I'll definitely name you in the episode credits or whatnot, description. Let me ask you two fellas something real quick. Of all the Disney movies, who's been like, the best villain? Their biggest, most dangerous villain?
Disney, not Marvel, right?
Yes, not Marvel.
Okay, so Disney. That's a hard one. Scar? Jafar?
A lot of people say Scar. A lot of people say Scar.
Captain Hook was throwing niggas off making dudes walk the plank.
You got Cruella. You got...
She was dope too.
Yeah, Maleficent she's still a good one. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Scar. Yeah.
Well, Disney has a new villain, a bigger and badder villain, and his name is Governor DeSantis. Mickey Mouse got a problem, man. So ever since Disney, opposed the whole "Don't Say Gay" law, he's been at their neck, and he's now aiming to take over their special. They had like a special tech. Basically, Disney was able and allowed to like operate how they wanted to because they were pretty much the city of Orlando. So they were able to operate with a lot of freedoms, and he's looking to take over their like special tax district to where the state can now impose laws and different taxes on the theme park. So I just thought that was kind of, I mean, that's a weird adversary to take over. I mean, to really go at a huge employer of your state, but you know, Republicans like to fight. So just want to throw that out there, man. And there's like $1 billion in bonds that is owed by Disney. And so Disney was like, man, we don't really care because they would have to pay off that $1 billion in bonds before they take our tax district away. Yeah, like 766
so Disney's not even sweating it.
Yeah. So there's a lot.
So you're saying Florida would have to pay Disney?
They would have to pay the bond off. So they'd have to pay the bond holders off before they can take the special district away.
And he didn't have an answer for that because he was asked about that and he scoffed at it. So we'll see how he figures that out. Other than that, though, man, as we were recording last week, or maybe it was like a day after, you know, tragedy struck again in Buffalo this time, 10 people killed. And I made a post, man, within 1 week, we just had some crazy racist stuff that has happened, man. So just, we're always reminded, no matter how much progress we make, man, we get those reminders every time. So just a very sad situation.
And what's so crazy about that, because I was going to bring that up, is the chances of that happening aren't that great. To, you know, it's three of us. Like, it's terrorism. I mean, that is what terrorism is. It's the fact that you cannot go to a supermarket right now. We don't know if there's a big plot to hit every supermarket in the U.S. or in the majors. We don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Other people looking at that like, I'm going to do that too.
Whatever it is, and if it never happens again, it's always in the back of your head.
Speaking of copycats, I think one of the names written on the gun was Dylan Roof, correct?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Yep. That was just so crazy to me. And they were kind of doing research on the background. So he was able to get the guns. He supposedly passed all the background check. Yeah. And the only thing that was I think maybe a year ago, he made some comment in school about murder-suicide, and they took him to they committed him to see, you know, and he passed all the tests, so they let him back out. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know the answer outside of, you know, taking them all away, you know, and that's a whole nother conversation.
And can I just say one other thing? I don't mind people giving advice, but I hate when it kind of teeters the line of victim blaming. And I saw a person make a post where he was saying, instead of saying, you know, hey, black people, we need to, let's make sure we're armed. You know, if you're in a state, know the gun laws, try to be armed so you can protect yourselves. It was on some, see, and y'all don't want to listen to me, people getting shot like that. And that's why you need to be armed. Like, let me make this clear. You cannot outdraw somebody that has their gun already out. Okay, so yeah, if you find some shelter or whatever, and you're able to get away from the gunman initially, yeah, being armed helps. But some of those people, he didn't even park his car good, and he shot some of those people just out in the parking lot. If they were armed, being armed wouldn't have helped them. So I don't want people to think that once you start carrying a gun, you're immune to being a victim. You still have to be careful.
That's a whole nother subject. I mean, Razi, have you ever seen people who are trained with their weapons end up having a, you know, accidental round hit somebody? Is that uncalled? Is that unheard of? Does that happen more times?
No.
Does that happen more times than not?
Yeah. It's funny. they did studies, and we had more injuries by fratricide in the Afghanistan war. In the Afghanistan war than we had injuries by enemy fire. So basically, we shot ourselves more times than the enemy shot us.
And that's because you get in a situation where everybody has guns and you don't know who is the enemy. I mean, it sounds so good.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Because if I am in the back of the store and I hear gunfire in the front of the store and I turn the corner and there's another man with a gun pointing at me because he heard what I heard, guess what? This dude is shooting. I gotta shoot him. Guess what he's thinking? This dude is shooting. I gotta shoot him. So now we're going to have so much friendly fire. I remember when they brought this up in the schools and Trump was saying that we should arm the teachers. And I'm like, that's about the dumbest thing I've heard. I get it. It sounds good and just practical, but it's just, I mean, we've done movement exercises and everything, and you just be amazed how many people in not even a real world situation, like, you know, shoot each other. It's friendly fire all the time. So,
yeah, didn't y'all just have an accidental discharge on Capitol Hill, Buff? Like last week, like.
Oh, dang! How did you hear about that?
I got my connections.
Yeah, but not just even police. I know this open a second. It's taking a minute, but you can go on YouTube and see like trained firearm instructors who their job is to safely handle firearms, and even they mess up from time to time. So you just multiply that by thousands of people with little to no training carrying around guns. Even in a crazy situation, you gotta understand that with that adrenaline. I mean, it's so easy to pull that trigger too fast, and you end up shooting yourself while you're pulling out the while you're like unsheathing the gun. If you
all of that,
it's so much misinformation at the beginning of any active shooter situation. There's so much misinformation from Columbine all the way through. Like,
well, there's no information. We're talking about ground zero. We're talking about as soon as it hits the fan. Because I don't know if you guys are wearing uniforms going to the grocery store and out in public where we all know who's on the same squad. But I know when I was in the military and we all had on the exact same uniform, I might even know you personally. And there's still a chance that I might shoot you. And you're saying, let's have a grocery store full of random people dressed however they want, you know, and unfortunately, the three of us all look like thugs. So we're always, you know, a suspect. Moving on.
Oh, did I tell y'all the story of I had a friend that wanted to be a police officer when he was growing up, but didn't work out right. And he was like, that's my dream. My dream be a police officer. Didn't work out. He got called by the police and he was running. And I was like, don't run from your dreams.
Ferg so disrespectful. I didn't even think he was going to look at the camera. In Razi's defense, he has asked that he not be put on the spot. He just wants it. He wants to like let the joke flow. Yeah.
Because it would have been, the story would have been better, right? It would have worked. Yeah. Matter of fact, what I might do is take out the Razi, and so then they won't know it's coming.
There you go.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna edit out the Razi part, so then they won't know.
It's me or you. Excuse me. Up first today, right?
This episode is brought to you by Coffee Mate. After watching this season of the HBO's original series, The White Lotus, this is the tropical getaway I needed. One more pina colada, please.
Hey, you're not on mute.
Oh, I thought I was in paradise. Turns out it was my Coffee Mate. Coffee Mate pina colada and Thai iced coffee flavored creamers. Inspired by the newest season of HBO's original series, The White Lotus. For the love of coffee. Try now.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, whoever wants to go. Who went last week?
You know what? I think I did. You know what? Since we kind of the top of the show was kind of serious, I keep that theme going and then see if you guys lighten it up. Question is very simple. We live in the United States of America, correct? Sweet.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
That's well, that's what the USA acronym stands for. United States.
I'm in Texas.
Of America.
You know.
Simple question. Has America ever been united? And if so, when?
Yes. Revolutionary War. That's about it. Right after that, right back to being divided. But and actually, I don't even know if that's true because there were a lot of people that supported the British during the Revolutionary War. So I don't even know. But as a country, government-wise, people-wise, there were people that supported. But I think as a country, we were together. After that,
yes.
Huh? You think so?
Yes.
9/11?
9/11.
9/11.
9/11.
Yeah. So it's like that Family Guy episode where Lois was running and all she was like 9/11 and everybody was like ah, and then she's like 9/11 and everybody was like ah, and that's all she had to say the whole time.
It's about 2 days. 9. No, I'll give further that. I'll say 9/11 into the Super Bowl. Didn't the Patriots win that year, like something like that? I feel like that, it was just after that. It was kind of.
I don't know. I don't know.
It was befitting.
I don't even know if after 9/11, like those 2-3 days was about it because after that they started talking about the response, and it was right back on the line of what the response should be, and we were all divided on that.
Nah, I think everybody was like, bomb them. Everybody was like, get them, get her done. They came to our home, attacked our land, crashed planes into our building. Get them.
Okay, all right, maybe.
So
but yeah,
it got muddied by. It was definitely muddied by weapons of mass destruction a few months later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, by late 2002, early 2003, all that patriotism was gone. And, we ran out of bandanas and, there was no more country songs and 9/11.
Yeah, I think that's the last time.
I would agree with that answer if you don't include Muslim Americans as Americans during that time.
Touche.
Ooh, touche.
But no,
touche.
Were they not? Where do you think their stance was?
Well, it's not so much their stance as how America was viewing and treating them.
Okay.
Because when I go down our country's timeline, I mean,
somebody got to be the bad guy.
Well, I can't really think of one.
Somebody, and that was very easy. You know what was so easy? The reason they came up is because it was one of the first times we didn't feel like the bad guy.
That's true.
We were united in our freaking narrow-minded approach and views of Muslim Americans. I'll put it out there. I think as a whole, like I remember flying and you're just like people would just sit there and they were stereotyping. You could see or feel the tension in the air if somebody came that did not look like they were a Christian or whatever. They look Muslim. They could be Arabic, whatever. It didn't matter. It was people. I remember people locking eyes like, I'm watching you, watch me, watch them. We watching them together. That was America.
What about right after George Floyd? Because I say that because even Rush Limbaugh was like, whoa. You know what I mean? And we saw the demonstrations all over the world and across this country. Is that the closest we came? I mean,
it wasn't though.
No,
I mean, there were counter demonstrations that entire time.
Remember, because we had a whole, because they made the protesters bad. I mean, we had a whole episode on looting's bad. because it was so they were trying to.
I tried.
No, we refuse to be united. We're united-ish at our best.
And if you listen to this episode, when I say united, I'm not even necessarily saying when has America ever all agreed on something. Like, you didn't have to agree, but some people were like going out of their way, because the memory's coming back to me now. They were making excuses. Well, George Floyd was on drugs. He shouldn't have resisted. Had he listened, he would have been alive. Things like that. It's more than just disagreeing. Like, people try to vilify victims and stuff like that. Man, we've never. So how can we be the United States of America?
I mean, because it says it on the Constitution,
where we were 3/5 of a person until an amendment.
Who would you like us to be, Byron? Like, if you could rename it.
Just call him
Byron Land.
Just call him Murica.
Murica. Yeah. But then you're disrespecting to the South Americans, and it's so crazy. I thought the answer was easy. I thought 9/11 was it, but you did bring up a good point. Even and I think that was when I look back, it was one of the few times I feel like somebody else truly, I don't want to say it like that, but it was the first time I noticed somebody else being villainized or
I got one last guess.
I got one.
You got one? You want to go first? You want to go first?
I got one. Yeah.
I got one too. Go ahead.
The Civil War, when the South succeeded, so they weren't on our side, and they weren't part of America.
Nope. Doesn't count.
That counts. The Union was the United States of America.
And you even still had some Union states that still kind of, they empathize with the South.
Yeah. I was going to say, so I wasn't around, obviously, and there was no Fox News back then. But has anyone ever heard like what the news coverage was after the girls were bombed in the Birmingham church? You can't vilify them. It was, completely, I think even the most hardened racists were like, man, that's too far right there. I think America was united then, maybe? There was no Tucker Carlson back then.
United enough to pass the Civil Rights Act, but...
I got it. Got it. Baby Jessica. You remember that? Ooh. You remember Baby Jessica? It was like one of the big first stories that made CNN. It was this little girl in Texas that fell down the well, and it was like nonstop news coverage. People were sitting there. I think they did it might have been a Family Guy or a Simpsons.
Simpsons did one
episode where they were just sitting there like it was just. No, I think it was South Park. It might have been South Park or something like that. But it was. It made. I want to say that was the first real news story that made CNN, because it was the only news station that was doing 24-hour coverage, and America sat and watched. I remember being a kid watching this and like feeling for Baby Jessica. So, Baby Jessica, even though y'all didn't know Baby Jessica.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I don't know who Baby Jessica was. Listen, were you in Texas at the time?
Yep.
That's exactly.
Nope.
Over here in Alabama, we didn't know who Baby Jessica was.
They knew who Baby Jessica was because I'm gonna say Nancy Reagan, Barbara Bush, one of the presidential
First
wives
ladies?
spoke on spoke on everything.
Last one, and we can move on. What about when our hockey team beat Russia in the Olympics?
Black people didn't care about hockey.
Okay. Next topic.
The dream team. The dream team.
All them
Dream
black
team.
people on that team? Are you crazy?
But just
But
like
they represented America.
But just like who was the owner of the Clippers?
We have it too much. Oh no. No. Forget that.
Magic Johnson.
When Whitney Houston sung the national anthem at the Super Bowl. Even white people like that version. They was crying because remember we had the Gulf War going on. And if you watch footage, you got people wiping tears and stuff. And they had to fly over. And it was right before the game.
This is so sad that we had to get to this.
It's always
to be like when America was united. Like
no, I don't remember which Olympics it was. It was a women's gymnastics team. Kerry Strug. That was it.
You ain't lying.
I don't care.
Because my little young black self, I was so happy I was like, oh, she made it.
Like I'm sitting there
Her
just
foot made it.
that was it, man. That was the best moment in American history.
Wow. So do we agree?
Man.
Do we agree? It's Kerry Strug. So Kerry Strug brought America together.
Kerry Strug brought America together.
That is.
This is sad.
How could you not cheer for that? What year was that? Was that 2000?
That was like 92, I think. That was 92.
Was that Dominique Dawes last year?
I believe so.
Okay.
All right, so it's my turn. My turn.
Yeah.
All right, real serious. Let's keep it serious then, since we're gonna go there. I was flying back from somewhere, and just in my own way, I was listening to some music, and the great poet Eightball came on.
Oh yeah.
I knew.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I know this was going that direction.
Yeah, and I was listening to a song called "My Best Friend's Girlfriend." And if you don't know the song, it's a song about 8Ball going to his plug, and his plug has a wife, and
the plug is his boy too. That's like his homie.
Yeah, and that's his homeboy. His homeboy, like close friends, and his wife's banging, and so Ball ends up starting to have an affair with his best friend's girlfriend named Angela. And so at one point, literally his homeboy leaves the house, and before his car gets out of the driveway, Ball is banging his wife on the pool table.
You're not gonna do my boy Ball like that. Ball resisted like the first verse he resisted.
Okay,
damn it.
All right. So here's my question to this for you fellas: who was wrong in the situation? Was Ball wrong or Angela wrong?
Both. Ball is. I don't know who's more wrong.
Because again, if your homeboy wife or your homeboy girlfriend is coming at you hard, you're resisting whole verse, whole 16 bars. You're resisting her, trying to be the good stand-up guy, and then all of a sudden you slip up. Is it your fault or is it her fault that happened after you've tried to say no? But it just happened.
All it takes is to say no once, and then you get the fuck out of there.
But that's my plug. I gotta keep going back.
You can get a hotel. You can get a hotel. It's in town. Yeah.
You got no, bro. You making excuses.
But Ferg, it's one more wrong than the other.
Right. Okay, we'll say that. We'll say cheating is bad. Cheating is bad. Yes, we will say that both of them are wrong. Is one more wrong than the other?
Ball is homies over.
Homies over.
I thought that meant that you could smash it.
Yeah,
you're right.
That is what that song means. Yeah.
That's what that means. So that means
no. It's the fact that I'm your boy. Like I'm gonna choose you over any dog. Your lady foul. Like it's. I ain't gonna let this go down like that. Nah, but seriously, they're both wrong. But people break up every day. Relationships don't last. True friendships. Now it depends on how true this friend. Now, how close were they?
They were pretty close, but I saw Buff made a post and he said, "Don't let your wife stop you from finding your soulmate." So,
what is wrong with
this? This is the opposite of that.
No, he didn't let his homeboy stop him from being.
No. That's different. Now, if Ball was her
So your
soulmate.
homeboy is more important than your wife?
You know what though? I'm replaying the song in my head. They are boys, but it's not like they grew up together. Like the song starts off, bleep this out, Razi. My C, he from Texas, I'm from Tennessee. We do our thing with them things, getting currency. He got the hookup with Colombians and Mexicans. Like it's kind of like a working relationship.
Right.
He's still wrong, but
Is he?
Yes. Yes. There's no question about it. He's wrong.
But no, in all seriousness though, like I see or I have seen this happen a lot, right? Where friends or so-called friends end up like hitting or like getting intimate with somebody's wife or whatever, and then they end up together. They may end up going to get married. Mistresses and stuff like that, side chicks end up becoming the wife, right? So
then we weren't friends.
Maybe not. Maybe we weren't. But you know, it's one of those things that who owes that person more, the spouse or the girlfriend or the homie.
So replaying the song in my head, in this song, she's more wrong because they've established a life and everything together. And as I pointed out, Ball is wrong. Like that man that invited you in his house and y'all have a working relationship, which is a very dangerous job in itself. And you do that. So Ball is wrong. She's more wrong.
Yeah, but I think like I don't just let anybody stay in my house. I don't let anybody just in my door. I protect my family at all costs. So if I open my doors to you, there's a certain level of trust and respect that I have. And, you know, God forbid something happened with me and Z, I feel like we would still be friends. You know, like we struggle. Marriage is a struggle daily. 50% of them end in divorce, right? So that there's a chance this is not gonna work. Is it harder to be a friend or is it hard to be married? And so if you're my true
both those relationships are hard and they take work.
And that's a delicate situation because you tell your boy that, then you got to worry about who he's gonna believe.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, like, and that's.
So is that your excuse for smashing? Like, well, shit, he ain't gonna believe me no damn way, so I'm just going ahead and smash. Is that your logic? Is that where we're going with this?
Ball resisted as much as he could. She kept pressing it.
I mean, I get it.
She got him drunk.
No, see that's
they were drinking or whatever, like having a good time, and then she started
No. All on my early morning hard D grinding on it, pulling it. Before I knew it, she ended up sucking it. Ended up it. It was in the morning.
That's right. It was.
That's right. Let's go with Razi's premise. They were drinking. I would never.
I'm just playing all the excuses that you
like,
hear.
If I know this is a red flag, this is a danger zone. There's no way you trying to have a drink. No, I'm good.
And
like,
that's not. And for me, Ferg, that's even if she didn't hit on him. I don't think you should be in a situation where you're throwing back drinks one-on-one.
Yeah,
with your homeboy girl, because of the potential.
Yeah,
that can come with that.
Yeah, that ain't cool. Like, you know, there's just to me there you look at the situation. And as a friend, because as a friend, I don't have to deal with that type shit every day. Like, I'm not going to be in front of your lady, your wife every day. So this one day I need to control myself. Like, you know, you're going to deal with your girlfriend, your wife on a daily basis. Those are tougher relationships. My thing is, I'm not just going to, I'm not, even if I think like, man, maybe I'm tripping. Is she hitting on me? No, I'm about to go. Like, it's been real, you know, like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Why were they?
Because I remember Buff Tab was like, at one point she thought that either like I didn't like her or there was like maybe, you know, there was something going on because like I didn't hang with her like that or whatever, like when you weren't around and stuff. And it was that. It was kind of out of respect for you, right? I'm not just going to be sitting chilling with Tab or whatever, even though I really, really like her. That's my homegirl. I love her to death, right? That's auntie. But it was still that kind of it felt awkward. Like it was like, you know, I'm not just gonna hang with you and like you say, kick back, drinking, sitting on your couch type thing while Buff's not there. Like it just felt awkward. And so yeah, I mean, you have to keep that line. So I'm not excusing Ball or anybody that does it. No,
you sound like you were.
I'm making fun.
Unless like Buff, like I come in town, Buff's on his way home. Like, you know, I'm flying, I'm staying at the crib, Buff's on his way home. It's like, bro, drink. The bar is open, and we're just sitting there waiting on you to get here. And it's like, Nick, when you walk in, I'm so happy to see you. There's no way. I'm not like, if I flew into DC and you're like, well, bro, you know, I'm gonna be gone for the weekend, but you can go stay tabs there. I'm like, nah, bro, I think I'm cool. Like, I'll spend that bread, you know.
Same.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do have female friends where I'm their friend, and so outside of the marriage, you know, like that's my friend outside of the marriage. I'm closer to the spouse than I am I'm closer to them than I am the spouse. So that might be a little different, but even then, I'm always aware of my surroundings. You know, but nah, bruh. She foul, Ball foul, bruh. It's just gotta accept it sometimes, bruh. That's his one imperfection.
Yeah, cheating is still bad. That's what we're saying here.
He's a high value dude that has, you know, some challenges. Alrighty, I'm gonna keep it serious, man. As you guys know, and I've been kind of going on this theme for the last few weeks, finishing up Will Smith, the book Will, and he brought up a point about feelings. And we talk about, you know, being logical and men think differently from women, all that stuff. And he found himself realizing that he put feelings lower on his list of priorities, especially other people's feelings lower on his list of priorities than he recognized. And so his example was basically some stuff going on with Willow, and she asked him a question about did he care how she felt. And of course of course daddy cares how you feel. But then when he took a step back, he realized that there were things that he prioritized more than her feelings. And he struggled trying to figure out if that's right or wrong, but that's how he was. So I want to ask you guys today, where do you prioritize feelings when it comes to making moves, making decisions? Would you like me to kind of give you some examples of the things he prioritized before feelings? So he said he prioritizes putting food on the table every day, making sure you have a roof over your head, your overall safety, making sure you're intelligent and your mind's trained to solve the problems of your life. You're strong because the world is hard. You know, you're productive and contributed to the human family. So he had 6 things, you know, food, housing, safety, that you're intelligent, that, you know, you can solve the world, you know, solve your own problems, strong enough to deal with the problems, and productive, that you know how to navigate and contribute to the human family. And then he said, if he takes care of 1 through 6, he feels like he's going to put you in a position to better deal with your feelings and where you can kind of handle them and navigate your own feelings better. But without any of those, you know, where the feelings lie. So what say ye?
Well, what's the question?
What do feelings fall on your list of priorities, especially when it comes to dealing with others and even yourself?
First off, let me say this. I know where he's coming from. It's kind of like that old school mentality that men had. Like, I'm protecting you. I'm keeping you fed. You know, I'm taking care of your needs. You know, I don't have time to worry about your feelings. And I don't know if if that's how he intentionally wound up in that space, but I do know men of the past, that's how they were brought up. And it's like, it's not until our generation where we're really, you know, pushing for therapy and being able to express your feelings and emotions and stuff. I still can't say that it's like number one, man. Like, I still on a day-to-day basis, you know, make sure the roof over the head is maintained, food is on the plate, things like that. But I do take feelings into account, like just how I parent Jasmine. And I want to include Tabitha too, how we both parent Jasmine. We definitely care about her feelings. We care. We allow her to have input on different things around the house that I never would have been asked as a kid. Like, we're getting ready to try to remodel our kitchen. We in Home Depot asking her what she, and taking her seriously. Like, you like that color? Okay, let's consider that one. Let's compare it to this. Things like that. So we definitely take her feelings into account. I do, but I can't honestly say if it's like number one.
Okay. I'm gonna let you go, Razi, and then I'm gonna have a follow-up question for Buff.
Cool. Yeah, I don't think it's a ranking is the problem.
Just
it's
long
hard
as
to
it's
be
included.
like that's number one. It's included because
Okay.
it's when you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? He talks about you have to have those basic things: safety, security, food, water, shelter. Like, without those, you're not going to self-actualize. You're not going to get to where you're really kind of feeling emotionally well and that you're loved and all that. You can't feel loved, or you can feel loved in an unstable environment, but it's just harder, right? You might feel love because I give you love languages and I cuddle you and I'm here for you and I'm gonna protect you even if I can't shelter you. So that, there's ways to do it, but it's, as a parent, you're trying to give it all, right? Yes, I'm going to give them a house. I'm going to give them food or whatever. Once the basic needs are met, then yes, I'm going to worry about their feelings. Now, what happens when I say it's a spectrum and I don't think it's a hierarchy or a ranking of 1 through 6 is because I'm going to give them a house. I don't have to give them the best house, right? In my mind, I want to get to the best house. I want to get to where we're eating out every weekend and fancy dinners and all that stuff. But as long as we eating, if it's ramen noodles and macaroni and cheese, blue box, we good, we're eating, they're safe, they're secure, they're healthy, then I can start worried about feelings and emotions and all of that. So I have to have that basis there.
But it sounds like you just named the priorities. You just basically said, once these are met, then I can do that. So there's a priority first.
Well, I mean,
you're never going to say,
why
okay.
I say that is I have to give the basics, right?
Priorities in. It's a priority, right? Yes or no?
Yeah, but it's not like it's a,
you don't like saying
continuum
it, but it is.
of it. No, I'm just saying it's a continuum of it though. It's like I got to give them a house. I don't have to give them the best house, right? Just like and while I'm giving them the house, I got to give them some emotional support. I can't totally ignore their feelings while I'm doing that, right? But it's hard. It's that thing where like people that come from poorer families can't go be artists because they feel like they gotta get a job that can pay some bills so they can get a house, so they don't become artists. It's factually proven that kids from lower income communities and lower income households don't go into the arts as much. Basically because they know they have that mentality of I gotta get the house and stuff. But kids from more affluent households go into the arts a lot more because they don't feel as pressed to get those basic needs. So you have to get those basic needs out of the way. And while you're doing that, you're going to have some, yes, I don't want to see my kid cry, right? I want to make sure that my kid is at least emotionally taken care of to that point. But then as you get more stable, as I get the bigger house and that I'm not worried about the mortgage and all that, then I start worrying about, like Byron said, I'm going to take your thoughts in consideration about how we decorate the house and stuff like that. So the feelings, I can worry about your feelings a lot more when the basic needs are met. Whereas I have to get that bare minimum. Yes, I don't want to make you cry. I'm not going to just like come at you all day long, all greasy. But, it's going to be times when I'm trying to pay the bills and make ends meet. I can't hang with you as much. I can't make you happy. I can't worry about how you feel about me working all the time because I got to pay the bills. Right. So but once the bills are paid and we're in a stable house, not Will Smith, because I remember that chapter in the book where it was after Willow was like, well, I did whip my hair back and forth and I'm done with music. And Will was like, what you mean? Nah, we got a tour we got to finish up. And she was like, well, I don't want to do it. And he's like, and then that's when she asked, she was like, do you not care what I want? Do you not care how I feel about this? So, you know, in that situation, that's where that is so far beyond my basic needs. So
yeah, okay.
That's why I can't put a full ranking on it to say that. I will put a ranking of basic needs first. So maybe that's it. Maybe it's not shelter and then this and this. It's basic needs as a number one.
But I think,
and then yes, I worry about feelings.
But the thing about it is, I mean, I love where you were going. And Byron, I think Razi kind of answered my question. And did you agree with him as
yes,
like the fact that you can ask Jasmine about the house because you're in a position. We're remodeling our house. We have people that are just trying to pay rent.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so you get that. There's people that have never been asked or will ask their kids or their spouse or themselves that question. Mm-hmm. You know, so you can care about our feelings because you're in a position, like Razi said, to do that. And what are you about to say, sir?
And I was going to say, well, first, I think I think he wound up explaining it, but he wasn't necessarily saying one is more important, but it is sequential. So like you do have to get that house and stuff first, but the feelings are just as important. It's just that has to come first. So
it? I feel like it's a nice thing to say, you know, but the thing about it is,
we said, there's homeless people that love their kids and their kids feel loved. Yeah. There are homeless kids that are actually happy just because they're with their parent.
I'm talking about
sleeping
you
in the car.
I'm talking about you. I'm not talking about the world. I'm talking about Razi. Could you be homeless because your kids are happy?
Because I wouldn't be happy. That's the other part about it. Like that when
because
you talk about worried about feelings,
it's still feelings.
It's feelings, but it's my feelings, right? Like I have to worry about me too. I got to put my mask on before I put theirs on. I have to feel stable
and why
to
wouldn't
be
you feel
able
stable?
to emotionally support them.
Why wouldn't you be happy? Because you don't have the basics. But I see where we're going. My question is, and you brought up Will, like, you know, this mansion in the Lake Her, this dude has a huge estate. But I think we are all, for the most part, I don't think either of us are minimalists, right? Can we say that, right?
Agreed.
Yeah.
So you're comparing yourself to Will Smith. Neither one of you have small houses. So when you're like, I can see you really downsizing. You're like, well, a roof over the head. Well, it doesn't have to be that nice. Yeah, it does. Like, you're not going to take a step back. You're not going to do those things. There's certain levels and you might be like, okay, I'm happy here, but you have to, there's for most people, a lot of us, there's like, I need to at least get here first. So you might spend more time working, but the kids want a little more daddy time, but you need to spend more time working so you can make sure you get this house, this car, put the food on the table, put those things that, you know, like you want to eat a certain way. Now, food might not be as important, but you want a nice house. You want your forever home. You called your home your forever home. That's the home that you guys wanted. Did you have to have that? Not at all. Right? But there was a goal to get that. And, you know, you were almost hell bent on getting that. And until you got that, it was maybe not the top priority. So I feel like we can say, you know, the essentials or the basic needs, but our basic needs all are varying. You know, a roof over your head, 4-bedroom house, 5-bedroom house, 3,000 square foot, half an acre. Like, that's not a basic need, but we want it and we're not going to stop. And we'll put a lot of things on the back burner until we get it. Even, you know, sacrificing maybe the feelings of the wife and the kids because you're focused on getting there, you know, the extra hours and all that stuff. So it was very eye-opening for me to think about it. I'm trying to balance it more. I think it all, like you guys said, there's a balance to it. I do think about how overall it's going to affect my family and others. Like if it's going to hurt them or harm them, then I try to, you know, put that more up front depending on how, I don't know, I think, all emotions, all feelings, all outcomes aren't equal. Z being upset for a day because we didn't go to Thailand for a honeymoon, that's her feelings or hurt. She wanted to, but we went to Mexico. I'll deal with that, but it's the things moving to Atlanta where she's adamant about not moving there and that it could affect our family. And, I can get a better house, I can get a better job, I can get all this stuff hypothetically. Then that long-term effect, how big of that impact on that feelings is another thing. So
yeah, that's precisely why I said that I can't stack rank them, because certain periods and certain times and certain decisions are based around that, right? Sometimes the feelings are more important than the house or whatever, because we live in a 2-bedroom apartment. We got a roof over our head. So your feelings about something, about me not being available to you, may be more important to me than me feeling like I need to go get the 4-bedroom house, right? Balancing it at that point. So it's all a balancing act of that moment, that time, that decision, which one comes first.
Yeah. So the reason I brought it up too is Byron kind of hit on it. If you go back and listen to him, he sounded like what you were saying. We're conditioned as men to kind of, for one, put feelings on the back burner. We're conditioned to, protect and provide and do all this stuff where feelings aren't optional. We grew up in the world, your feelings. That was kind of the world, I feel like you ate. I think my dad told me that. I feel like you ate tonight. Those are the things. And
yeah, what's the movie Denzel Fences? Where he was like, do I put food on your table? Do you sleep and eat at night or whatever? So I don't have to like you. I'm not worried about that. That's not what it is.
Yeah.
I have a responsibility. I'm gonna do it. So yeah, great movie, by the way.
That's also the premise where I ain't trying to be your friend. I'm not trying to get you to like me. That's how my parents taught me. I don't need to be your friend. You don't have to like me. I'm gonna make sure you got food on your table, you got a roof over your head. And that was their goal. And maybe that's because for a long time, for one, they weren't equipped emotionally to deal with this because they hadn't dealt with the gaps in their emotional stability or maturity, as well as they had very limited opportunities to provide those basic or the essential needs, where all their energy went into providing those essential needs, and feelings, because of the situation, had to be prioritized. It's like, I'm going to miss your soccer game. I'll miss your track meet. I know that might hurt your feelings, but I got to go work this second shift because you like sleeping under a roof.
Right. Right. Exactly. That's it. I mean, I think it's,
and he talks about his dad, that coming from his dad, and his dad's ability to work so hard was how his dad supposedly showed he loved him, which a lot of men do as well. Yeah,
and then you think about disciplining your kids. I mean, if you only worry about making your child happy and they're always happy, something's probably wrong. That child is spoiled as I don't know what if they're always happy. There's gonna be times you say no and they're unhappy. There's gonna be times that you as a parent know better and say no, you can't go with that person, or you can't go here, or you can't, so what you feel or what you want may take a back burner to us as a parent, and our experience, our knowledge, what we see, the situation. So there's that too.
So I'm gonna make this very quick because we hit on the basic essentials, but he did name two things that might not be seen as essentials. So he told about being
ready to take on the world or whatever.
Intelligent. So making sure that you know how to navigate the world, right? You know how to do that. You're strong. That you're built, like they say, forward tough. The world is. I gotta prepare you for these hardships that are gonna come. I don't know how to do that, but I'm gonna prepare you. And then I also want to make you almost like just a good person when you're giving back to the world. Because if your feelings just it's all about me and screw everybody else, you're not going to fare well in this world. So those are maybe non-essentials or, not as big, but he's like, I still got to get those three in you. before I consider or your feelings come into play, because you got to learn how to live in this world.
Yeah, and it's just a simplistic view. It's great for books and clickbait and all of that, but it real life doesn't work that way.
We spent a lot of time defending whether or not we were prioritizing. Feelings doesn't have to be number one, just long as they're considered. Like the example you gave with Willow and him saying we need to go do this tour. That's just not taking her feelings into account at all. But they don't necessarily have to be number one. But as you do have to consider them.
Yeah. Okay. Agreed. So let's get out of here, fellas.
Same thing as last time for me. The nappy voting is going on. VoteNappies.com. Vote NAPPIES.com. Three Brothers No Sense. Click on media and then click on best local podcast. Once you vote, you don't have to really go through, entering your email and all that stuff again. Once you vote, you go to that same browser and you just vote again, and it just registers you without entering your email and stuff. So please vote. We really want to win that award. We think we deserve it. And also follow us. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Three Brothers No Sense on Facebook and Instagram. At Brothers Sense on Twitter. We have a lot of fun. Razi referenced one of our posts early in the episode. Don't let your spouse stop you from meeting your soulmate, folks. Okay? You only got one life. Find that soulmate.
Yeah. And if you don't like Kendrick Lamar music, that's a character flaw. Just throw it out there. I saw that post. That was hilarious. But Buff, you were right. The new album is dope as I don't know what, man. I've listened to it twice just on repeat, just kind of listening through it, but it is so good. Same, man. I got really nothing. I just want to say, Marvel, y'all starting to mess up, man. So She-Hulk looks horrible. Just want to say it. I'm not excited for that one, but we'll see. I'm gonna watch it anyway. And folks, once again, always threebrothersnosense.com. Go check us out. Check out the merch. Make sure that you are leaving us voicemails. We want to hear from you guys. So DM us, whatever. We want to talk about what you want to hear about. So hit us up. Let us know what you want to hear about. Ask us questions. Leave us voicemails. We'd love to kind of answer some of the questions that you guys want to bring up, as well as the ones that are pressing on our mind. And again, prayers out to all the people in Buffalo, the families. And so just make sure that you guys are keep your head on a swivel and watching out, because we don't know what's going to follow up behind this, because that ideology is still out there. People see it, and unfortunately they may come and they may copycat it. They may do the same thing in your area. So make sure you are watching out.
I want to say congratulations. I think a lot of people are graduating this past week. So congratulations to all the graduates, to all the family members that, that's your diploma too. That's your degree too, because I know a lot of you guys were supporting them. I always want to see that. Congratulations to Mr. Nick Cannon on babies number 9 and 10. I don't know how this keeps happening. Speaking of random transition, I'll be, praying. If you hear anything, I know there's this formula shortage still going on. That is just crazy for these mothers who are struggling feeding their kids. Everybody doesn't breastfeed. Everybody's not fortunate enough to breastfeed. For some people it's a conscious decision. For others, they're forced for that. So if you hear of any solutions, if you hear of anything that can help these families, not just mothers, because it's a family thing, I don't want to make it all about women, let us know. Spread the word. I did hear somebody say you can go to Amazon and change your, the country code from US to Canada. I haven't tried it, but that might help some people out. I don't know. But it's crazy times we live in. I don't see why or how this is a thing.
Ferg, I get on my soapbox. You brought up formula. I mentioned how people were victim blaming at the top of the show. It's not as simple as just breastfeed. Fellas,
that's why I said that.
I saw that post you should be breastfeeding. You do know some babies are allergic to that. It doesn't work out like that. Some women have a issue with doing it. So I just, I just hate when people do that, man.
Yeah, and it's not even. It could be they can be challenged with that, and also just producing enough. You know, I call. You know, they say I call women out. I call everybody out. Fellas, shut the fuck up on this one. This not our fight. If you want to do anything, go buy some formula, find some. Don't tell women what to do with their bodies. You know, you just don't know what's behind it. You don't know. So unless that's your wife or your lady and your kid, you really don't. You don't need to put in on this unless you're helping them out, because this is a real world issue. We can talk about all that later.
So that's the new certificate that they have. They went from Russian experts to lactation experts now. Is that's the new certification they have?
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. They
got a patch.
Maybe they're like Boy Scouts. That's what it is. They're merit badges. Yeah.
Okay. 3 brothers, no sense. As usual, 6 rules of podcast. Listen, like, share, subscribe, comment, and most importantly, listen again. Talk to you next week.